let's get started. It's 11 a.m. on the dot. Awesome. Well, let's jump right in. I'll go into a quick agenda. All right. So the first thing that we'll be doing is going through an overview of the integration process with Labster. We'll then go through a Labster support overview, so how and when to contact Labster support. Then walk through some Labster best practices so you get the best and the most out of your experience with Labster. And then we will walk through a demonstration of how to download a common cartridge with the simulations you'd like to use from our faculty resource page and upload them into your Canvas course shell. Then I'll go ahead and open up the floor for some questions and answers. If you do have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to go ahead and just put them in the question box throughout the presentation. I'll go through all of them at the end so we make sure that everyone's questions are answered. All right, let's get started. So what to expect once you have signed an order form with Labster. So first, once you sign an order form with your sales representative, you will be introduced to your Labster implementation manager. They'll be reaching out to you via email with an introduction and a quick kind of overview of what to expect and the timeline for your implementation. The next thing we're going to do if you're integrating with Canvas is going to be working with your LMS admin at your school to integrate the Labster LTI tool. That's essentially just the external tool that's put in place in your learning management system and your instance of Canvas that allows your Labster simulations to launch in your individual course. Next, you'll be able to upload your simulations using that common cartridge that you'll download from the faculty resource page. You'll get the link to the faculty resource page from your individual implementation manager. They'll go ahead and send that over to you. And then once you've gone ahead and done that and uploaded that common cartridge, we'll just confirm that your simulations are launching, that you and your students are able to access your Labster content, and then you're ready to go and live to be ready for the spring semester. All right, so quickly going through some support and resources here. So Labster support can be contacted directly through help.labster.com. That's where you can go for any support requests. So faculty and students can contact Labster support if you run into any technical difficulties, for example, freezing, any slow loading, anything like that, please reach out to our Labster support team through our website. If you're still in the onboarding process, still getting up and running, and you're experiencing any issues with your Canvas integration, please contact your implementation manager and they can absolutely help you out with getting up and running. There are plenty of additional resources as well on our support page at help.labster.com. And I'm just going to quickly roll through a few of those now. So as you can see, we're at help.labster.com. Couple great resources here for you. One being our Labster FAQs, or frequently asked questions. If you or your students have any questions, any preliminary questions while getting started with Labster, this is a great place to start. Ton of great articles for you here. You can also use our search bar to look up anything in particular if you're having a certain error or want to know more about a certain functionality. We also have a student and a teacher resource page as well. So for instructors, we have some really great resources around teaching with Labster, so you can find a full library of all the white papers, webinars we've held, any testimonials we've done, research. All of that great stuff can be found here on the teacher resource page. We also have more information around the Labster dashboard and student results, so feel free to poke through this article if you're looking for more information about how you can kind of get a deeper dive into student attempts and grades in your course. For students, we also have a resource page. One resource that I always recommend using or sharing with your students rather in your course is this very top resource here, Labster 101, Getting Started with Labster. And essentially all it is a brief intro to Labster. It contains a really brief video that you can share with your students that'll give them kind of a preview of how they'll be accessing Labster, what will it look like once they access Labster. So clicking around that lab, a quick preview of that. It really eliminates some preliminary questions with students, and I always say it's a great resource to share with your students as well. So feel free to link this in a course page or share this in a syllabus if needed. And lastly, I know I mentioned this earlier, you can contact our support team here as well. A couple different ways. There's this little blue word bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. You can go ahead and click on that. It'll bring you to our support page. Our support reps are live on our website on Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If for some reason you have a question while they're not online, you can still shoot them a message and they'll get back to you as soon as they're back online. You can also click here on Contact Our Support Team. And then you can contact them through this page as well. All right. So quickly running through some Labster best practices here. Things that you should do every time that you're using Labster in order to assure that you have the most seamless experience and you get the most out of your Labster simulation. So first you want to ensure that your device meets the Labster minimum system requirements. So Labster simulations do not launch on any iPads, smartphones, or tablets. So if you do have any students that are trying to access through one of these devices, they will get an error message. So please make sure that students are using devices that meet our minimum system requirements before playing a simulation. Make sure that they have a strong Wi-Fi connection, that they're using a Labster recommended browser. We always recommend playing Labster on either Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. Making sure that Labster is the only tab open in the browser. If you do have any errors occur when playing or launching a Labster simulation, best thing to do is to clear the cache and refresh the browser. If the errors do persist after you've done all of these things, go ahead and contact Labster support directly and we can help you through any error that you're experiencing. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and jump into our demonstration of getting that common cartridge uploaded into your Canvas course shell. So the very first thing that we're going to need to do is head to our faculty resource page. And this link is something that you will get directly from your Labster implementation manager. And there's a few different resources here for you. So if you're an instructor that is using Labster in the coming semester and you're still deciding which simulations that you'd like to use, you can go ahead and click on the Simulations tab. It'll bring up our entire course package of labs. You can either look at our complete course package or we have these divided out into subjects as well. So if I wanted to take a look, for example, at a biology simulation, I'll go ahead and click Bio 1 and 2. For example, if I wanted to take a look at the acids and bases simulation, I'll go ahead and click on that. And quite a few different resources for each simulation on this page. First being that you can watch a video of the simulation being played all the way through. You can play the simulation yourself by clicking Play Simulation here. We also have downloadable lab manuals now available on our faculty resource page as well. This is a brand new feature that we actually just released in the last week or so. So feel free to take a look at those. You can also download the PDF of all of the question and answers that are in each lab simulation. So please make sure when you do get this link from your implementation manager that it stays in instructor hands only. This page does have access to all of the questions and answers for students using Labster. So please don't share this link with students. And then you can read the theory page that goes along with each simulation as well. If you scroll down, you'll see a description of the lab, any techniques learned in the lab, and any learning objectives that are covered. You'll see an estimated simulation length. And then if we have any collaborators from any schools, they'll be listed here as well to help create the lab itself. So once you've gone ahead and picked a list of labs that you'd like to add to your Canvas course shell, You can go ahead and click the Upload to LMS button here. Once on this page, we'll go ahead and click Add Simulations to your LMS. And just a heads up, if you ever need a refresher or a walkthrough of exactly how to add these simulations to your Canvas course, you can find all of the guides here, and you'll find the Canvas step-by-step guide here. But to download the common cartridge, we'll just go ahead and click Add Simulations to your LMS. And then our complete course package will go ahead and pop up. I can add simulations to the list that I want to download by going ahead and clicking the blue plus button next to simulations I want to add to my list. These are all listed in alphabetical order, but you can also look up labs by keyword or title. So if I know I want the lab safety, I can just type in lab safety up here, add it to my list. I can also click this drop down and find all of the simulations listed by subject again as well. So I can go ahead and create a list of simulations that I want to upload to my course shell. Once I'm satisfied with that list, I'll go ahead and click download. Then I'll just have to download the common cartridge for the learning management system that I'm uploading it to. In this case, it would be Canvas. So I'll go ahead and click Canvas. It'll generate a link for me here, and this link is to what we call a common cartridge file, and it will download in your browser as a zip file. Once I click download, you'll see here it'll download as a zip file. No need to unzip that file or open it. What we're going to do is head directly over to our Canvas course shell and upload that there. And I just have a quick video of that I will walk through now. Okay, so once you're in your Canvas course, you'll go ahead and head over to the settings in the bottom left-hand corner. Once we've gotten to our settings page, we'll head over to the right side of the page and click Import Course Content. Then we're going to have to select a content type. The content type we're going to choose is Common Cartridge Package. We're going to go ahead and choose a file. And that file is just going to be that common cartridge we just downloaded from the faculty resource page. It should be at the very top of your downloads folder, and it's always listed by CC underscore, so that's always how you can kind of find it in your computer if you just need to do a quick search in your files online. Then we're going to go ahead and select content. Now, if you downloaded a common cartridge that was specific to one course, if you have created a curated list specifically just for one course that you'd like to use it for, you can go ahead and click all content. If you created a master common cartridge with all of the simulations you want to use for multiple courses, you can go ahead and click select specific content, and then it'll just be a couple more steps that you'll need to do in order for all of those labs to upload. But if you're just uploading all of the content in that common cartridge, just select all and click import. But in this case, just because there's a couple more steps, we'll select specific content and click import as well. Now, if you had uploaded all content, you'll just get this queue and it'll look like this one down here. It'll just do a little completed message once it's done, and we'll head directly over to assignments. But since we're selecting specific content from this common cartridge, there's just one more step. It'll queue up for us, and then we'll just have to select content from the common cartridge itself. So you'll just have to drop down the simulations, and then you'll see all of the simulations that you downloaded in that common cartridge, and you'll just have to check off the simulations that you want to add to this particular course shell, and then click select content. That'll go ahead and queue again for us and give us a completed message once it is ready to be accessed through our assignments tab. We'll go directly to assignments, and you'll see those labs appear, that ones that you selected from the common cartridge itself. The next step that you'll have to complete is just go ahead and publish those labs to your course. Once it's published, you and your students are ready to access. The way that you'll access these labs and the way that students will access is just go ahead and click on the lab title itself. It'll ask you to load load the lab in a new window in your browser. You'll go ahead and click that option, and then the lab will launch for you. If you ever want to move the lab to any other part of your course, if you have a specific module, or if you want to change any assignment settings, you'll just go ahead and click these little three dots here. It'll give you an edit or a move function, and then you can edit it or move it like you would any other assignment in your Canvas course. That is a quick demonstration of the faculty resource page and uploading that lab to Canvas. I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for some questions if anyone has any. Feel free to pop those right in the questions box in your GoToWebinar. I'll just give it a couple minutes for some questions. And just a heads up for anyone, if anyone joined a little bit late, we did record this session as well, and our marketing team will be sending out a recording of this webinar in the next day or so. You can find the connection to the faculty resource page. So your implementation manager will send you a link to the faculty resource page, and that's exactly where you'll go ahead and download that common cartridge. Whoops. This is the faculty resource page. You'll receive a link to this. If you did miss the demonstration to that, you will receive a recording of this webinar afterwards. But this is the faculty resource page, and you'll just click the upload to LMS function in order to create that common cartridge. Thank you so much. If there's any other questions, feel free to put anything in the questions box. I'll give it a couple minutes. Just hang on the line for a little bit if you have any questions. Give it a couple more minutes in case anyone has anything. All right, it seems like nobody else has any other questions. Thank you all so much for attending today. I hope this was helpful. We're excited for you and your students to get started with Labster. Please reach out. Oh, looks like we have one question. Nora, you can exit that out. Let me go back to the faculty resource page. Hold on, I can open up a new tab. You can exit out that announcement. Let me see here. Apologies for my slow loading computer. Come on. I don't know if it'll give me the same announcement. But there should be in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little arrow down. You can just click that arrow and it'll exit out of the webinar announcement. You're welcome. Any other questions before we jump off the line? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you all for being here today. Have a great semester. Please reach out to your implementation manager if you have any questions, and we will be sending out a recording of this webinar afterwards as well. So have a happy and healthy semester, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a good one.